I'm Jillian.
Jillian.
When Ms. Gallen just brought up how we know a lot of our own individual cases, one of the cases I was focusing on was the regents of the University of California versus Milwaukee with affirmative action. And I was just wondering, because affirmative action is such a controversial topic, because some people say that you're judging people solely on their races. Like, I was just wondering, I'm assuming that you
I'm a supporter.
Yeah. But I was just wondering, like, what are your views
So
on
look,
the
a couple of
controversy?
things. This is, and it's great that you learned and you studied Baki, because there will be a case this term. It's the Fisher case out of Texas, which is going to be, I think it's going to be devastating, right? So Texas has a plan that after they said that you couldn't take race or gender, it's important to underscore that the affirmative action also helps women, that you couldn't take that as the sole criteria for whether or not to include people in a university or a context. That Texas came up with this plan to take the top, I think, 10% of their public schools and give them admission to the University of Texas, which was another way to have diversity, right? Because the schools were so segregated, and there were so many more segregated schools. If you took the top 10% of all the schools, you had a lot more brown and black kids going into the UT system. And so this second case that's come through now with the Fisher case is trying to say you can't even take that as a factor, you know, because they're saying that having diversity is one of the reasons why you have this plan, that we have to be race neutral. Now, look, did I feel when I first went to Princeton that I wasn't really ready for it? You bet. You know, I didn't go to the schools. You're lucky, you're one of the best schools in the country, right? I didn't go to a type of school like this one. And I didn't read everything my other counterparts read. And I had never understood some of the stuff that other people showed up at Princeton to do. Was my SAT score as high as the other SAT scores of my roommates? No. Right? I studied for the SATs with my little Barron's guide from a public library. I didn't go to a great prep school. I didn't have an SAT preparation class. It was a couple 100 points below. I think it was, you know, I was in the 1300s, and my roommate had a perfect SAT score. So I was dumber than him on the SATs, right? And I thought, well, God, did they only let me in here because I'm Puerto Rican or I'm affirmative action? And then I go to college and I realize that when I take my tests, I take my tests. And they don't give me a grade based on, you know, at Princeton, like most of the schools, they give you a number. So I was whatever number I was, and the teacher didn't know who submitted the tests. And after my first semester at Princeton, I worked my butt off, but I got straight A's. And I said, I'm just as smart as these people. And I never got straight A's after that, right? Because I kind of mellowed out and had a little bit more fun, and A's and B's, you know, did pretty well, but never worked that hard, because I wanted to prove it to myself. And it was mostly me I wanted to prove it to. And, you know, sure, there is a thing that goes through everyone's mind, like, am I here because they're looking for racial diversity? Am I here because they need women in these leadership jobs? What you guys are up against, I mean, it ain't all a bed of roses, I want to tell you. In the private sector, oh my God, if you look at the number, do the research on the number of women on corporate boards, do the